You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
And joining us as our guest this week, we have Nicole Gugliucci. Dr. Nicole... Fuck, let me do that again. Sorry.
Dr. Fuck? We have Dr. Fuck, the sexy astrophysicist.
Oh my god. I'll take it.
Hello, we are Enterprise-Splaining, the podcast where we explain Star Trek Enterprise to each other and to you. I'm Maria, and these are my co-hosts, Jamie.
Hello.
And Bill.
Hello.
And joining us this week as our guest once again is Dr. Nicole Gugliucci. Nicole, welcome, and please tell us who you are and why you are here.
I don't know why I'm here. No. Hi, everybody. So I am an astronomer, physics professor, teacher, all the things. And I am here for my love of Star Trek and my even longer term love of astronomy and astrophysics. And I have not seen this one, obviously, but I have heard there may be some astrophysics for me to look at.
I don't know, man. It was like, I didn't understand any of it, so I was like, maybe an astronomer will, but just as likely that you're going to be like, this is all nonsense. So.
That's definitely the problem with Enterprises. It's too smartly written for us.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Well, we are on an astronomer roll because we just had Phil Plait on for our last episode. So,
my boy Phil.
Yeah. Today, we are going to be talking about the Star Trek Enterprise episode First Flight. However, I am the only person here who's actually watched it, so it's my job to explain to my co-hosts and our guest what happened on the episode. But before we get to that, just a reminder, we have merch. If you click the link in the show notes, you can get to the ESO Network TeePublic store, and you can get you some Enterprise-Splaining t-shirts, some Porthos Appreciation Society t-shirts. It's awesome. Go do it now. No, really, like, stop the podcast and go buy one. You won't regret it, and then we'll wait for you.
Unless you're driving.
Yeah. If you're driving, then pull over.
Pull over first.
And then go buy one, and then come back.
Seriously, though, guys, like, the Porthos shirts are so cute, and you should at least go look at them, even if you aren't going to buy one, because they really are just so cute.
They are very cute. Okay, so now that you're back, presumably with your Enterprise-Planning t-shirt on, because I assumed you waited till it was delivered before continuing this episode. Computer, tell us about the episode that we will be talking about this week.
First Flight. Archer tells T'Pol the story of when he and a rival named A.G. Robinson were in competition for breaking the Warp-2 barrier.
Okay, so now it is time for Two Truths and a Lie. I'm going to tell you guys two truths and a lie about this episode, and you can guess which is the lie. Are you ready?
Yes.
Number one, Archer insists on following all the rules and has to be convinced to participate in criminal activity.
No. Excellent. That doesn't sound like the Archer we know.
Well, again, this might be his twin brother that died that he replaced right before the mission. Nicole is looking very confused. This is my headcanon, is that
okay.
Archer is not actually, he's the twin brother of the guy who was actually supposed to be the captain of this starship.
Oh.
But he's the criminal black sheep of their family. I think what was his name? Harvey Archer?
Harvey Archer!
I'll take it.
All right. Number two. Hoshi and Phlox set off on a B-plot mission to make the best ice cream.
I can see that.
Plausible. No.
And number three, we learn that trip is short for triple.
No.
Oh, I think...
No.
Okay.
No.
Nicole, as our guest, would you like to go first as to which you think
I already
is
went
the lie?
first. I already said mine.
Oh,
mine is no, it's trip. Trip is not triple, is not...
Trip is not
short for
two
triple.
of them. You said no before you heard
did.
them all.
You said two for... You said no about the first one as well.
So,
yeah, but mine is that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Archer.
Okay.
Doing not the right thing, but having to be talked into it, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I will split the difference and take Hoshi and Phlox's fantastic ice cream adventure.
All right. So while we ponder what this week's lie may be, let's hear about one of our sister podcasts on the ESO network. Y'all, I might have been just a little high while I was writing this. Be warned.
What the hell you say?
Another sunny day in Gotham City. But wait, what's this? The dynamic duo has been captured by the evil alliance of the Joker, Penguin, Catwoman, the Riddler, and the Minstrel?
Holy mismatched melodies! What do we do?
Never fear, the Bat Chums are near. Drew, Mike, and Magic Batman are on their way to save the day by recapping and reviewing every episode of the 60s series.
Holy podcasting platforms! Where can we find them?
Right here on the ESO Network and YouTube. Don't worry, Bat Chum, the worst is yet to come.
Cold open. The Enterprise is flying through space like it does. Whoosh, whoosh. Trip to Paul and Archer.
I was drinking and almost choked. Oh my god! Sorry, I breathed in tea because I started laughing.
Sorry, I made you aspirate.
Wow! Oh my god! Okay, I'm sorry. Go on.
We cut to the command deck, and Archer is working the clutch, keeping it in third.
All right.
Sorry.
Trip, T'Pol, and Archer are standing in front of a screen, and T'Pol has Vulcan Science Director and Skeptic face on. Okay. She's saying it could be a phantom reading or background radiation. Archer tells her that even the Vulcan scientists agreed that dark matter exists.
Sorry, I'm already laughing at this. Yeah. This
Okay, well then,
good.
you're really going to enjoy this.
There must have been... I'm going to go through the archives. I'm guessing there was a New Scientist headline article that week about new matter and what it means to popular mechanics.
Yeah, great. Yeah. I get to complain about Mond. I'm so excited.
T'Pol agrees, but says never in such dense concentrations. Archer says that's exactly the point. They could be the first to directly observe a dark matter nebula. T'Pol is not convinced, saying that even with modified sensors, there wouldn't be much to see.
That's why they call it dark.
It's dark, man. It's right there in the name.
We're still in the cold open? I'll shut my mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Archer says he's heard of Vulcan experiments where they were able to excite dark matter by bombarding it with Metreon particles. Metreon particles made up. 100% made up. Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah. I was going to say, the listeners can't see Nicole's face, as Nicole was just like, I guess.
I couldn't remember if Metreon was made up or not.
No, I looked it up this morning. I was like, is that a real thing? Not a real thing. But T'Pol points out that those tests involved very small quantities, and the structure they're seeing is 10 million kilometers in diameter. Archer asks Trip to rig some spatial charges to spread the Metreon particles over a wider area. And as they are discussing this, Hoshi interrupts because Admiral Forrest is on the phone.
Of course.
Archer goes into his quarters to take the call, and he's all excited. He's telling Forrest about that his timing is great. He starts to tell him about the nebula, but Forrest interrupts, saying he has bad news. He says that AG was up on Mount McKinley, and there was an accident.
What?
Archer.
Wait, sorry, AG? Like
AG,
the letters?
the letters AG.
Like an attorney general?
That's what I thought!
Attorneys General.
Multiple of them.
Archer looks stricken as Forrest tells him that AG is dead. And theme song, which brings us to Jamie's Diane Warren update of the week, which I know you have meticulously prepared for us today, as you always do.
I forgot to prepare. And right before we started recording, I realized it. But it's okay because I'm just going to do it from memory. I know what's been going on this week.
Thanks,
I know,
Scott.
first of all, as we are recording right now, the Grammys are on. So hopefully, good luck to Diane Warren. By the time people are watching this, the Grammys have been happened weeks ago. So I guess you can just look up whether she wins Best Documentary or not. But otherwise, you can just wait for us to tell you next week. Breaking news. But there is real breaking news. And again, this is breaking news from weeks before people listening. But she got her 17th Oscar nomination, which is a huge deal. This is her 9th consecutive nomination in a row, which
That's what
I
consecutive
believe
means.
is but it means that she now has the record for the most consecutive nominations in history of that category.
Wow.
That's
So, big deal.
She's
She had
already
tied last
breaking-
year, and now she's broken a record. And if she loses this year, she will officially be the person with the most nominations in Oscar history in any category to have not won.
amazing.
Yikes.
Oof. What a
And
Dubious
let's-
honor.
Let's be real, she is definitely losing this year.
Oh yeah, there's no way she's winning this time. She's up against some incredible people, right?
The other songs that she is up against, she's up against the song Train Dreams from Train Dreams. I was going to listen to all of these before recording and like give my opinion on them, but I forgot. I have heard that is a very beautiful song. Her song, by the way, is the Kesha song "Dear Me" from the documentary about Diane Warren, Relentless. The other song she's up against, "I Lied to You" from Sinners, which I have not seen Sinners because it looks scary.
Oh my god!
But I've heard that song
yeah,
is
that song.
so really
good.
great.
Yeah,
I don't remember
she's
which. Oh, is it the
doomed.
song that he plays with all the? Oh,
It's the song, and I haven't seen it either, but I know about that scene.
Oh, if that
Yeah.
doesn't win, I'm a riot.
Yeah.
Well,
that needs
it's
to win.
another song nominated was "Sweet Dreams of Joy" from the movie Viva Verdi. I don't even know what that is, but I promise you I will actually research it by next week. And then, of course, Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh,
So
Right. Yeah.
I really,
remember
it's
those were the two.
between, so Golden is probably the front runner, but I think that "I Lied to You" is kind of considered the possible come from behind win. And Diane Warren's "Dear Me," there is absolutely no way she's getting it this year. Last year was her year. She really should have gotten it last year. It was genuinely a good song. It was a weak category. But no, she didn't get it. So she lost to Amelia Perez last year. Anyways, this is what happens when I don't prep. I don't know. Anyways, it's exciting. She got an Oscar nomination. Maybe she'll make history by losing again this year.
Dare to dream.
Okay, thanks, Jamie. So now that the theme song is complete, we can get into the episode. Archer, still looking serious, is prepping a shuttle pod. Trip is explaining what to do with the spatial charges that he's rigged. He wants to come along, but Archer says he'd rather go alone. He says that if the nebula exists, they don't know what effect it'll have on the shuttle pod. And so therefore you should have the captain go
Captain.
on it alone.
Yeah, wait.
Alone.
Trip rightfully says that's all the more reason to bring along the engineer, and Archer just says not this time, and Trip nods.
Wait, sorry, can we go back? I forgot. What did Admiral Forrest call for? I
AG
thought-
died.
AG
Oh,
died.
right.
AG
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's sulking.
AGD.
We're assuming
AGD. Yeah. Well, he's grieving
grieving
somewhat.
something. Grieving something.
He's being a lone wolf, wanna go deal with my feelings on my own guy.
Oh my god.
Men will literally explore a dark nebula rather than
Yeah.
go to therapy.
Yeah, like, you know what you probably shouldn't be doing when you just found out somebody that you cared about died and you're grieving is like this super dangerous mission into this where like you don't even know what's going to happen.
Solo
and
mission.
Solo.
Yeah,
Do it
just-
alone.
This feels like a terrible idea. Nice leading here.
Well,
Nice leading here, Archer.
yeah.
He's just throwing his rucksack into his Jeep and he's gonna go
Oh.
into the mountains for a couple days.
That's exactly what it
walkabout.
is.
Go and walk about in the dark matter nebula. Yep.
Go and walk about in the dark matter nebula. A strong contender for the title of this episode. Trip says he still can't believe that AG is gone, and Archer agrees.
Oh, even Trip knows about this. Okay.
Archer agrees, saying how ironic it is that after all the close calls AG had flying warp trials, he gets himself killed climbing Mount McKinley. Archer gets into the shuttle and starts prepping, but a few seconds later, T'Pol just busts into the shuttle. She says she's brought some sensor enhancements which should help them map the nebula. Archer protests, saying he's going alone, and T'Pol reminds him that she is, in fact, his science officer, and so maybe it makes sense to bring her along to see this never-before-seen phenomenon.
Oh my god.
Archer, of course, gets a little pissy, saying he prefers to handle it himself. And T'Pol tells him that Trip must have forgotten. There's an actual Starfleet rule that requires the captain to be accompanied whenever he leaves the ship. She closes the shuttle pod door, and there's no arguing with her. Archer knows when he's beat. He sits down, and they take off.
But also, if the captain is off the ship, you shouldn't have, like, the second in command with him. You should have someone else. Like, This
is a losing argument with Star Trek in general, though, right? I mean, this is just how Star Trek works. You always have the two most important people show
The
up.
entire original series would make no sense.
Yeah.
As the shuttle pod leaves the bay, suddenly fires start breaking out everywhere on Enterprise.
Maybe it's better without him.
I mean, it typically is better without him,
yeah.
but that's when T'Pol's in charge. Now
yeah.
Trip's in charge, and who knows?
Hopefully.
Anyway, so they take off. They have almost 3 hours before they reach the edge of the nebula. T'Pol says she can pass the time meditating, but if he'd prefer to talk, and Archer immediately tells her to meditate. She suggests that he join her because he seems quite unsettled by his call from Admiral Forrest.
Not in a place where he should be doing this. Like this feels bad. This feels bad. It feels bad.
Feels bad, and he is bad.
It's fine. As per his habit, there are very few consequences to his stupidity.
That's because he's got T'Pol there, who's like, this man is about to get himself killed.
That is true.
So I am going to assign myself to go with him to keep him alive until he gets over this tantrum.
It's actually even more than that. It's T'Pol once again having the emotional maturity to realize that he needs to deal with his emotions that are clearly affecting him.
The Vulcan has more emotional maturity than you.
Every time. Consistently. That woman is smarter about all of these things.
Well, emotional maturity is an emotion.
Okay. So Paul suggests that he join her in meditating because he seems quite unsettled by his call from Forrest.
Well, someone needs to like fly the ship.
Yeah, they put it on autopilot. They're just going. Yeah, they plot the course and they're going. They're just sitting there.
Yeah, I guess it is like space, and until they get there, there's nothing.
Not suggesting he drop acid and like get knocked unconscious. Just say like meditate.
Yeah.
Just
Archer brusquely says he's fine. T'Pol says that Trip also didn't want to talk about it, but that he did mention that a colleague of theirs had died. Archer says, a Starfleet captain, A.G. Robinson. He says he wouldn't be where he is today if it wasn't for A.G. And T'Pol says that in spite of being pretty familiar with Starfleet history, she's never heard of the dude.
Sorry, A.G. is such a like. I get some people go by initials, but like A.G. are like weirdly hard initials to say.
Yeah, that's why when I first said it, I was like AJ, but no, it's AG.
Yeah, and like AJ is AG. If that was just like your name that people called you.
And I'm honestly not sure what AG like stands for. If we
ass grabber. It's not his actual name.
Now, here's what his name is actually Silver, but he spells it AG. Archer wasn't smart enough to figure that out, so he just has been calling him AG, and it's been so long nobody can correct him at this point.
That's a good one, Bill.
Well, now it's time, children. Let's gather around the fire while Grandpa Johnny spins us a tale. It's time to do a little flashback.
Oh my God, are we going to see Scott Bakula with like a dopey haircut where they try to make him look like he's young, even though he's like 45 in this
It's
show?
so funny that you'd say that.
Yay! Oh my God. Wait, so we actually get to see a flashback? It's not just him like telling us what happened?
We do. We're not there yet, but we do get a flashback.
Yes.
So,
okay, I'm so excited.
So Archer tells her that he and AG were in the NX test program together, trying to break the Warp 2 barrier. There were just a few of us, he says. Gardner, Duvall, AG, and me. Totally unrelated. Anybody want to take a guess to the race and sex of those people?
Gardner, I think, was the captain that the Vulcans wanted, and as I think I recall that Gardner was a female.
Okay, well, we're going to get the answer to that in a minute.
Yeah,
Okay.
wait, what were the other names?
Gardner, Duval, and then AG and Archer.
Oh no, is this gonna be like a woman
man.
and like a black man and then they just like chose Archer over them or something? Oh god. That's definitely what's happening.
Archer says
okay.
they all wanted the first flight. He says that he was cocky enough to believe he would get it. Flashback time.
Wait, does he use the word cocky?
Okay, it's yeah.
Okay, I hate this already. Okay.
We flash back to Archer. More eager, a little younger, kind of sweaty. I mean, he does have a goofy hairstyle, but he's just Archer. He's like, his hair's a little bit spikier. He's clearly like come back from the gym or something.
Always what they do.
He's going into Admiral Forrest's office, only he's Commodore Forrest at this point.
Sorry, I don't know why that's really funny.
And he's got his hat turned around backwards and had a slingshot in his pocket.
They chit-chat a little, but Archer wants to know why he was called in. He knows the assignment is about to be handed out and guesses it's really good news or really bad news for him. Forrest looks sad. He tells Archer that he's great and all, but AG is getting the gig. Archer is going to be backup. And Archer is all optimism and positivity through clenched teeth a little bit. Like, he's clearly disappointed, but he's, he says AG is a great pilot. He'll do everything he can to help him prepare. Forrest says he knows how important this was to him since it was his father's engine. And Archer earnestly says that the most important thing is that they succeed. He is fine. He's fine, you guys. He's fine.
Sorry, the listeners can't see the way when Maria said his father's engine, rolled her eyes.
So tired of his daddy issues.
I think they heard that eye roll.
I am so tired of Archer's daddy issues. And as you will see, this is all about Archer's daddy issues.
Oh, sure.
Great.
So Forrest dismisses him, and the next scene, we are in a bar. A pretty waitress named Ruby gives Archer a beer.
Ruby!
Do you know who Ruby is?
Is she the one that Malcolm was into?
Malcolm and Trip both knew her repeatedly. They figured that out on Shuttle Pod 1.
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
Because Ruby is a smoke show. Like,
No,
I
it's
cannot
not a surprise.
I would be very surprised that Malcolm had any game with Ruby.
Well, I can't believe that of all things that came back, that we actually get to see Ruby. I'm very excited to see Ruby.
She is a curly-haired redhead. You'd probably recognize her. She's been in a bunch of stuff. The actress's name is Bridget Branagh. She asks if Archer is okay. She says the last time he drank this much was when Carolyn moved to New Berlin. Ooh, backstory. We never hear anything more about it.
New Berlin.
Never asked, never answered.
Yeah.
So I just want to sidebar you for a second. Like, how are they dressed? I guess is she wearing like a space drindle, or is it
Oh no, Ruby is in normal clothes. Ruby is in just normal clothes. Nothing weird. Archer and all of the military people are in Enterprise uniforms.
Oh wow, okay.
So Ruby guesses that he didn't get the assignment and tries to make him feel better, telling him he'll get the next one. And Archer asks her if she knows what Buzz Aldrin said when he stepped on the moon. And when she says no, he says, exactly.
Burn.
By the way, I looked it up, and what Buzz Aldrin said was, "Stupid moon, I stepped on your face." Okay, all right. He did say that, but only in the episode of 30 Rock that he was on. On the moon, I believe he said "magnificent desolation" in response to Neil Armstrong saying "magnificent view." Anyway, Archer gets up and heads over to the bar where a bunch of other military dudes are drinking. All four guys are there. They're all white dudes.
Okay.
Now, to your point, they never actually say that Duval and Gardner are there. I just assumed that they were. So there are 4 white dudes, including A.G. Robinson, and 1 black dude. They are all in Enterprise jumpsuits. And I'm sure this doesn't mean anything, but the white dudes are all in gold command, and the black dude is in red, which is ops and security. Sure, it's just pure coincidence that
Totally random.
yeah, completely random. Anyway, Archer congratulates AG, and they have some, good-natured rivalry chat, but Archer's pretty gracious about it and, toasts AG. AG is putting away the booze, and Archer tells him to take it easy. He's doing
right before the flight. Oh no!
Well, that's what he says. He says he's doing the simulator at 0700, and his first flight's in 2 weeks.
Must be working for Northwest.
AG doesn't give a shit. He grins. He pulls Archer aside and asks him if he knows why he didn't get the assignment. He tells Archer that he tried too hard. He spent as much time as he possibly could in the simulator and pushed everyone and everything else out of his life so he could be the first. Archer doesn't see what the problem is with that, and AG says that he just doesn't get it. Starfleet doesn't just want a great pilot, they want a great captain. He walks away, and Archer looks a little annoyed.
That's not very friendly. But,
It's
also probably not wrong.
Yeah, and there's clearly like a rivalry between the two. AG is older than Archer, and also it seems to like he's trying to give him a little advice, but also he's sort of rubbing it in his face just a little.
Yeah, this feels very the right stuff. Like this is like
absolutely
boys club, like get on like being we're the cool pilots and
100% accurate.
I was thinking Top Gun, but it sounds a lot less aggro. So yeah.
Back on the shuttlecraft, T'Pol questions Archer's description of AG as a close friend. She says based on the story so far, the relationship seems pretty adversarial. Archer says that there's nothing wrong with a little healthy competition. T'Pol says that AG wasn't wrong about needing to be more than a pilot to command a starship. And Archer agrees.
Yeah, no shit. Sorry, like the idea, you don't even really have to necessarily even be a good pilot to command a starship. I mean, it's probably good if you're a pretty good pilot, but like, I would not even say that's like in the top 3 skills, or 5 skills that you would need to be like a really good captain.
T'Pol says, fortunately, you seem to have developed the necessary skills. Has he? Archer asks.
I mean, the fact that we're like having this conversation, sorry, he just, oh my God, I'm sorry. I really just don't like him.
Maria, allow me to answer your question. No.
Archer asks if that's a compliment, and she says it was an observation. T'Pol asks if AG's flight was successful, and Archer says not exactly. In fact, he was lucky to come out of it in one piece.
After I loosened those bolts on the manifold.
We go back to the past where AG is now in the NX test shuttle communicating back to Earth and asking if he can go to warp already. Archer is back at the mission, well, the NX control, and is the person who's primarily contacting him. That was weird to me. Like, why would you have the backup pilot managing the flight on mission control? That just seemed weird to me. Is that normal?
I feel like I'm trying to remember now. I feel like I know the astronauts in the days of like Apollo, the backups would be on comms a lot. So
okay.
I would assume that if something is going wrong, you have someone who knows. Like they know what the controls are and like can ask the questions that would
Right. Well, and then there's a whole bunch of people like monitoring it. Forrest is there and so on. So Archer says they're working through an issue with the stabilization. AG is getting antsy. He wants to go. Forrest is also in NX control with Archer, as are the goddamn Vulcans. Those Vulcans are everywhere in this episode. They figure out the stabilization issue. Archer tells AG he's good to go. So AG breaks orbit and generates the warp field. They confirm it's stable, and Archer gives him permission to go to warp. Archer starts monitoring his speed. Warp 1, Warp 1.5, Warp 2. Archer congratulates AG and says to try for 2.1. He and Forrest look excited. The Vulcans look a bit sour. Up on the ship, AG says things are getting a bit shaky. Archer checks the readings at NX control. Field integrity is down to 20%, and one of the Vulcans says the warp field won't hold. Archer tells AG they're getting some strange telemetry, and he needs him to go to sublight until they can sort out what's going on.
Can I just ask a question?
Of course.
First, Archer's father invented the Warp 5 engine?
He designed the warp engine that is based on. Yes. So what they're using right now is Archer's father's design. Okay, that's what now getting them to.
That's why I was confused because for some reason in my head I thought he had designed the Warp 5 engine. So then I was like, wait, but if he's not alive, it seems
I
like
think
he's
it's the
already not alive.
the basic engine that then they built upon to get to Warp 5. But right now they're still at Warp 2. Well, they're trying to break Warp 2. So alarms are going off both at the control and on the ship. Archer asks if AG heard him, and AG says he's at 2.1 and thinks he can get a bit more out of her. Archer tells him to abort, but AG ignores him. Archer notes that he is at 2.15. Forrest grabs the mic and orders AG to drop the impulse. Archer notes that he is at 2.2. Up on the ship, things are getting super bumpy. AG yells that the field is collapsing.
You get turbulence at that, at that when you get up that high.
AG yells that the field is collapsing, and Archer tells him to get out of there. We see the ship come flying out of warp, uncontrolled, and on fire.
Whoa.
That's impressive. In space?
Yeah, I was like, what is that about? But yep, it clearly on fire, and it breaks apart and bits of it blow up. It's actually a pretty cool scene, except for why is that thing on fire? Everyone at NX Control is horrified. Archer keeps hailing AG to respond, and there's silence as they go to commercial. Guys, we know he didn't die because he died at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, we know he survives this. It's not like it's that tense. But
No.
okay. What if there's just like multiple AGs? This guy's like a totally different AG and he dies, and then this other guy comes in, he's like
Picks up the
new
gauntlet
AG?
for AG.
I'm the new ass grabber.
Can we isolate that and put that as for people to download who know Nicole? So that when she calls them, that's the custom ringtone.
All right. So we're back from commercial, and T'Pol and Archer are approaching the nebula. T'Pol still does not believe the readings are accurate, but Archer says they should have some optimism. I didn't write it down, but T'Pol has a great line that's something like, "The laws of physics do not care about optimism."
The Vulcan Science Directorate has determined that optimism does not.
Optimism is an emotion.
As a physics professor, I can concur.
Entropy is the natural state of things.
But they decide to try Trip's charges. So they send out 2 probes, which explode in a very pretty purple starburst. But they aren't doing what they're supposed to do. So they decide to go further into the nebula. T'Pol asks what happened to AG, and Archer says that he made the record books for being the first person to deploy an escape pod at warp. But one of the 2 NX prototypes was destroyed, and it nearly derailed the whole program.
Okay, so I have a question. Does this ship, the thing that he was flying, was it a shuttle, or did it look like the Enterprise?
No, it didn't look like the Enterprise. It looked closer to a space shuttle, I guess.
Okay.
It was like a long tube more than a Enterprise thing. Yeah, it was somewhere between a shuttle and the Enterprise.
Is it the ship from the? I know you haven't watched the opening credits in a long time because your husband skips them every single time. But is it that Delta Wing thing from?
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Archer, Forrest, and the 2 Vulcans come into the hangar where AG is getting out of a beat-up escape pod. They ask what went wrong. AG says he wasn't sure, but the closer he got to warp 2.2, the harder it was to keep the warp field stable. Archer asks why he didn't abort when he was ordered to, and AG says the abort call was premature. Which is a ballsy thing to say when you just blew up.
Yeah.
Maybe if we had the shuttle, we could figure out what went wrong with it.
He says they'd had some instability on previous tests, but it had always settled down.
On tests. On previous tests.
So
tested pretend warp fields as opposed to the real thing. Okay.
So one of the Vulcans says that the engine design is clearly unsound. Before Forrest can respond, a familiar voice yells, "There's nothing wrong with that engine. It's Trip."
Hey!
Oh my god, we get young Trip.
Does he have a dorky haircut?
Honestly, they're not that much younger. They didn't even really, it's not that long ago, so they don't try too hard to make them look young.
What are they like wearing?
They're all in Enterprise uniforms.
Oh,
they're all in
that's so
Enterprise blue
boring.
jumpsuits, yeah.
I feel like this would have been like a really good opportunity for like different outfits.
Yeah. Archer looks confused at him. It's clear he does not recognize him.
Oh my god, is this how they meet?
It is Archer and Trip's
Yay.
meet cute,
What?
you guys.
Oh yes.
Yep. Trip introduces himself to Forrest as Lieutenant Tucker, and he says, wait for it, you guys, this was almost one of my two truths and a lie.
Oh, no.
He says he's on Captain Jeffrey's engineering team.
What? Oh no! Amazing!
It finally happened, you guys. We found the
my
Jeffrey's.
Oh my god!
Okay, I don't know if that's true or not.
That is not, but
But
I don't think
Stephen
it
was
is.
like, "Did you hear that?"
No, I think Jeffrey's tomb was named after somebody working on the show.
Yeah.
Well, it's talking about
Probably
incontinuity.
But
Oh, but in continuity, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
the first time we
I get
mentioned
now.
I believe Chuck from Earth Station Trek mentioned on our feed that actually Jeffrey's dude was like named after like a guy who worked on Star Trek.
Oh, sure.
But I do love
This is
the
canon where it
headcanon
comes
they just
from.
that like
this is my
somebody named
headcanon.
Jeffries died in a Jeffries tomb. It must be this guy.
It must be
It's
this
gotta
guy.
be this guy.
It's that's what I'm going with, you guys. Trip says they've never pumped this much antimatter through the engines before, and it's going to take them a little time to get the intermix right. The Vulcans say that this just demonstrates their point that the program is moving too quickly. And Trip says, just because it took y'all 100 years to crack Warp 2 doesn't mean it'll take us that long.
Trip.
I love Florida Man.
Archer grins, but Forrest calls Trip out, and Trip apologizes and walks away.
I'm confused, like, how long ago all these events are happening. Because, like, if they're only getting to Warp 2 at that time, and now they've been on the Enterprise for almost a full 2 years, and the Enterprise was the Warp 5 engine. So presumably it's been, like, a while. Maybe, like, 10 years? Do we think, like, 10 years?
It's not 10.
Because also, like, Trip seems, I guess Trip seems too young for it to be 10 years.
No, I think it's more like 5 or 6 years.
Sometimes breakthroughs happen like that.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
guess,
how long
like,
it took us.
Especially, I guess if it's like a new engine design, maybe like once they get it to 2, it's pretty easy then to get it.
Yeah,
up to
and
5.
at the end, I don't know that I have it written down, but at the end, Archer actually says, this is what happened, and here's what happened, and 8 months later, this happened, and then a couple of years later, he goes all the way up there. I just can't find it in my notes at the moment, but I'm pretty sure I wrote it down so we can get to
Because
it.
Trip doesn't seem that old in general, and so
Yeah, I
if
feel
we go
like
too far back, he'd get too young.
And after Trip leave, Archer turns to the other guy and goes, well, I never want to talk to that guy again.
Hate that guy. God, what a dick. Archer says that Trip's right. A new engine is going to have a few bugs. And the Vulcan says that those bugs just exploded their prototype and almost killed their pilot. AG says they're not going to get anywhere without taking some risks. Archer says there's a lot of data that they still need to analyze before they can understand what happened, and that they should be grateful that they only lost the ship. In the next scene, Trip and Archer are at the bar. Ruby is serving them beers.
Okay.
Trip says, Cyrus, to her. Cyrus, she says. Trip says it was his great-grandfather's name. And Ruby...
Cyrus Ramsey? The guy who got killed in the transporter accident in Hoshi's Nightmare?
I was just about to say, wasn't Cyrus the name of the guy that Hoshi...
The guy that doesn't actually
that
exist.
doesn't
in the
actually
concept.
exist that Hoshi hallucinated all the story about.
Why do I know so much about this stupid show? I'm making freeform connections. I remember the name of the waitress that both Trip
Yeah, I
and
can't
Malcolm
believe you remember
slept
that.
with.
I definitely remember Cyrus. I couldn't remember. I was like, it was Cyrus something. But I definitely did not remember Ruby.
God, my brain is broken in such a fascinating way. It's like an agate.
And you did it to yourselves.
Yep. Ruby says, keep trying, Tucker, and walks away. And he calls Chester after her. And then, how about Rosalie if it's a girl? She turns and chuckles at him and then goes back to work. And Trip explains to Archer that Ruby has had names picked out for her kids since she was 10. And she says that she'll marry the first man to guess them. Man, dating was rough before Tinder, you guys.
Wow.
Archer shakes his head and asks Trip what his name is. Charles Tucker, sir, but everybody calls me Trip. He explains that his dad is Charles Tucker, and so was his dad, so he is the third. So triple. So Trip.
No.
Trip stands for triple.
You know, I mean, I have seen this series before, so I feel like I cheated because that's triggered a memory.
I had to
also-
pause. That's actually apparently a thing, though. That's actually not an uncommon, like, I looked it up. I'm
Really?
like, yeah, that's what Trip often stands for when you're the
I
third.
knew this as well. I thought it actually came up during the podcast, but maybe
I don't think it's come up. No, we've just talked about the fact that he's Charles Tucker III. We've never made that connection. But yes, that's why Trip is named Trip.
Okay.
Archer thanks him for his help with the Vulcans today. They toast, and Archer says that his father would have appreciated it. Trip says he doesn't get it. It's like the Vulcans want them to fail. I gave up trying to figure out the Vulcans a long time ago, says a voice. And it's Forrest who has walked up. So they both jump up to attention.
I really don't like Forrest.
Yeah,
he just is like the epitome of like old white guard man that is just like, bro, like I just don't like him.
Forrest asks if he can join them. Archer gives Trip what is apparently the very first of their, oh shit, we might be in trouble looks that they always do. They all sit down together. Trip asks if he can buy Forrest a drink, and Forrest sternly says it's the least he can do after his outburst. Trip apologizes, but Forrest grins and says he'll have a beer. Archer can tell something is up, so he asks why he's there. And Forrest says that he came there to tell him that at the urging of the Vulcan Advisory Council, Starfleet Command has decided to put the NX program on hold indefinitely.
End of series.
End of series. We never have to watch this again. No. They all look grim. Forrest says they want to go back to the drawing board and develop a new engine from scratch.
That seems like
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
We're going to call it Discovery. It's going to take us about 15 years.
We just need some fungi.
Yeah, mycelium.
I get that it is not uncommon for there to be like a setback and for programs to like lose money or whatever. But to be like, we're just going to start over from scratch seems like way more expensive. Like that seems okay.
Well, money is no longer an issue. It's
fair,
time.
but it's still
man-hours,
resources.
Yeah, it's resources. Yeah.
Wait, if money's no longer an issue, why did it matter that Trip bought Forrest a beer?
Great question. Well, they went to get him a beer.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm sure he bought. He did say I can buy you a beer. He did say that.
I didn't think they were at the money's no issue point yet in the history.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know that they're
about this,
quite
and like
there yet.
I'm unclear on if.
Yeah, money is very confusing in Star Trek.
Yeah, just
something
in
that's sort of,
general, it's confusing in Star Trek.
That's very much. I will say that's very much a TNG idea because we see them in the original series. We see them like gambling and things like that. And
yeah.
If I want to get really deep in my nerd memory, I think there was actually a supplement, like one of those fan booklets that explains how much a Starfleet officer gets paid.
Wow. So Archer protests. He says if they start over, it'll be decades before they can make it into deep space. But Forrest says that Starfleet's made its decision.
Starfleet's never wrong, obviously.
They cut to a bunch of old women with shawls who are just knitting, and it says Starfleet Executive Committee. Well, I don't know about this. Sounds dangerous to me.
Trip asks for permission to speak freely and says...
This permission is never revoked for the rest of the series.
And he says to Archer, it's your father's engine, his life's work. You can't let them do this. And Archer just kind of looks at him because, like, what is he supposed to do? Anyway, some amount of time passes, and we know this because
Wait. So did Trip give him the daddy issues?
No, he clearly had the daddy issues long before this.
All right.
So some time has passed. It's raining outside. Forrest is gone. Trip and Archer are still at a table when AG walks in. He orders a bourbon and joins them. Everybody looks bummed. Archer says he assumes that AG has heard, and AG says it's really throwing a wrench in his career plans. Ruby brings him his bourbon, which he downs just as she says it's last call. He hands her the empty and asks for another. Trip looks uncomfortably at Archer, like they're both judging him for having 2 drinks when they've been literally drinking all night. Archer asks where AG has been all day, and he says he was debriefing. After the flight surgeons were done with him, he had to go in front of Starfleet's senior staff and the Vulcans. Trip asks what he told them, and AG says that, of course, he told them that the subspace field destabilized at warp 2.2, primary flight controls failed, resulting in the loss of the vehicle. Trip asks if he's forgetting the possibility of pilot error, and AG says he's not interested in his opinion, and Archer says he should be. I mean, he is the engineer. Archer says the Vulcans have been trying to get this program canceled for years, and today AG ruled out pilot error, which gave them an excuse to say that the engine didn't work at all, which is exactly what the Vulcans wanted.
First of all, I feel like so the flight like just happened that day. It seems really early to be stating exactly what happened. Like, I feel like this is more like usually like a longer investigation, but also like it's weird that Archer, who was like, it sounded like he was the guy like giving the command
At mission control, yeah.
And then Trip, who apparently was like one of the important engineers, maybe not Trip, because I guess there was like, he has like a boss.
I think it's Captain Jeffries who was the engineer. Like, because he just said he was on his team.
Yeah, but Archer at least should have been part of these debriefs.
Well,
also, like, it shouldn't be AG gets to just be like, it wasn't pilot error. And then they're like, I guess it wasn't pilot error. Like, you'd think there'd be a more of an investigation.
And I think that is why they all feel like this is very unfair. But AG says that he hates to break it to Archer, but the engine doesn't actually work. Again, Trip says the engine is sound and they just need more time to balance the intermix.
Yeah, like, again, they don't even know what caused it. It just happened.
And it doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
They can't even look at it.
Right, and that's, yeah,
See
so
what happened.
AG says they need more than time, and Archer says he agrees they need a pilot who will follow orders. He says that if AG had just aborted when he had been told to, they'd still have a ship and probably another shot. And I mean, Jamie, to your point, I think this feels like a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to the fact that the prototype blew up. Like, they destroyed 50% of their prototypes, you know, and so they're like, this is too dangerous. We need to relook at the whole thing. I think that's
which
where
I
this
kind of agree. Like, if your first time doing this, your test flight, it blows up and almost kills the pilot, you do need to go back and take a look at exactly what happened. How did it blow up? Like, and I get that obviously now that's kind of difficult because they don't have the shuttle anymore, but they clearly were getting real-time data from it the entire time. So they have a lot of data. They probably have so much data, but it's going to take a long time to go through and figure out like exactly what happened.
Yeah, which is what Archer is saying.
They could do this very lengthy and logical investigation that you're suggesting, Jamie, or they could try being more awesome.
So AG and Archer get into it. Archer says he should have slowed down at the very first sign of trouble. Probably true. AG says the ship don't work and that Archer refuses to see it because of his daddy issues. Also probably true. He says that Archer keeps making excuses, and every time there's a malfunction with the engine, he blames pilot error or a technical malfunction, which a technical malfunction is a malfunction with the engine. So I don't really, anyway. But this time he has to face the fact that his father designed a lousy engine.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, he did not.
Is Archer about to punch this man in the face?
Archer punches him in the face.
Yeah. And suddenly the bar erupts in a full fight. Somebody takes a painting off the wall and slams it over Trip.
They get into an all-out brawl. Just the two of them, though. They are knocking shit over. They're really pummeling each other. Everyone else at the bar just sort of stands back and watches them as they beat the shit out of each other.
Awesome.
This happens every night.
Is Ruby? Yeah, I was about to ask about Ruby.
Ruby yells, "That's enough," but they pretty much ignore her. So she yells.
She shoots them.
She yells at Trip to do something, and he grudgingly gets another dude, and they each grab one of the guys in that age-old practice of holding him back and yelling, "Break it up."
This episode is like all the things that I dislike the most about Enterprise, which is like Archer and Admiral Forrest and like the broiness and just and like the egos is just all of it is here in this episode, front and center.
Yes, that is correct. Back on the shuttle pod, T'Pol asks if the fight was interrupted, and Archer says that it was, but not before he got 2 bruised ribs and a cracked molar. T'Pol says, "I suppose we'll never know who would have won," disappointedly. Which is really weirdly bloodthirsty.
Yeah, like usually like a fist fight doesn't necessarily, like, this type of fist fight doesn't usually, like, have, like, a quote-unquote winner. It's usually just, like, there's a fight and then the fight ends. Like, it's not, and everybody's hurting.
Yeah, no idea why she really wanted to know who would win in a fight, AG or Archer.
So this man could have killed you. Perhaps it looked like an accident, but...
T'Pol suddenly detects a surge in the EPS grid or the conduit, or I didn't feel like going back to figure it out. Something. The lights start to flash in the shuttle pod.
Technobabble.
They're very big on EPS.
Yeah, some EPS nonsense. Main power is fluctuating. Archer says it's okay. Auxiliary is kicking in, and sure enough, the lights come back on after a few seconds. He says that Trip thought that the dark matter might impact the ship's systems, and Trip will be glad to know he was right. T'Pol insists it was probably just a simple malfunction, which I think they're both kind of missing the point here. Anyway, T'Pol is still not detecting any dark matter, but Archer wants to keep going. He's sure they're close. T'Pol then realizes that a far better argument is that another surge could, disable life support or something, and maybe they should get the fuck out of there. But Archer says that the one thing he learned from AG is that you're never going to get anywhere without taking risks.
No, that is...
And then he pulls out a bourbon bottle. Is that why he has bourbon
That's why he likes
everywhere?
bourbon so much.
Here's how I'm going to deal with this problem.
Yeah, I feel like that is not the lesson you should learn
It's
from
not the
this
lesson
dude.
I'm getting.
Yeah. T'Pol observes that Archer clearly admired this man in spite of him cracking his molar.
Yeah, it does seem like Archer admired this man, but there is nothing so far about this man that I would say is admirable. Like, I don't really understand what Archer sees in him. So far, everything we've gotten is him just being so goddamn annoying and, like, not caring about anything and taking risks he shouldn't take and not being careful.
Oh, but there was
maybe
another
Archer
side to
thinks that.
AG.
I mean,
He
they
could
have
touch.
they
He
have
could
test
feel.
pilot syndrome,
Yeah, I'm
It's-
sure. Yeah, that's the
it's-
kind of thing he
it's-
would look up to
Yeah.
if he wasn't in the middle of fighting with him. I'm confused too. It's fine.
It's this Starfleet heated rivalries.
Oh,
Oh man,
no, they
I
didn't invent
wish.
gay people yet.
That's right. Archer says he did admire him and that humans can have funny ways of forming friendships.
Punching each other?
Yeah, that's a guy thing.
Anyway, he mourns that AG would have loved it out here in deep space. He had earned it, and it was a shame he never got the chance. T'Pol says
He blew
that
up a goddamn ship.
Yeah, like, he proved he was not ready for it.
T'Pol says she thought that he was responsible for nearly ending the program, but Archer says that yes, but he was also responsible for getting it back on course.
What do you do? Promise never to fly anything again? They're like, all right, we can do it.
All right.
It's fine as long as this
You're
guy's
not
driving.
involved. In the hangar with the other NX ship, Archer is going to the locker room. AG is throwing stuff from his locker into a bin. He's packing his shit up to leave, and he encourages Archer to do the same. Archer says he isn't leaving just yet. He tells AG that he was thinking about what he said the night before about his father's engine. AG says he was out of line, but Archer says no, he was right. He was so eager to get his father's engine to work, it prevented him from being objective. AG said that's good of him to admit, but it doesn't really matter at this point, and Archer says it may. He shows AG the telemetry from the flight. He says that Tucker was right, it was the intermix, and he thinks they can compensate for it. But AG points out that it's too late. The program is scrubbed. Archer says that they can take this information to Starfleet and make a case to try again.
Yeah, so even if the program is scrubbed, there would still be a whole investigation that would probably last
Jamie's
years.
whole point.
And a whole, even if the program is scrubbed and they're starting over, that information is helpful for designing a new
even
engine.
if the engine is bad, like if there is something, if there's a deep flaw in this engine that makes it not work, you kind of need to figure out what that is so that you don't put that flaw in your future other engines.
There is a deep flaw in Starfleet is what's happened here. Because they are literally like, we're done. We're closing it. We're shutting it down.
Is that their fault or is it the Vulcans' fault?
It's clearly a political decision, right? So it's clearly the Vulcans are pressuring them to do that. But Starfleet is an independent theoretically, entity. Anyway.
They're kind of like toddlers at this point.
Yeah. AG doesn't think this plan will work. He says the Vulcans will insist on running computer simulations for years before they fly, and even if Forrest backs them up, he still answers to Starfleet command.
I mean, they
I see where this is
should be
going.
running simulations possibly for years before you fly in something that is extremely dangerous, but okay.
Archer says that surely if their two senior pilots and Trip insist that the ship can fly.
The rando! Oh, because Jeffries is busy.
Yeah.
Right. Surely they'll let them try again. He wants them to work together to convince Starfleet to give it another shot. He says that AG was the one who said they needed to take risks, and what harm could it do?
Blow up a ship is the harm it can do!
Well, no. He's saying what harm
okay.
could it do to try to make the case to Starfleet?
Fair.
But hold that thought.
Okay.
AG says that if he wants to convince the Vulcans, they'll have to do, look, y'all know where this is going. They're going to steal the other ship and fly it to prove it works.
Wait, what?
Right.
That
Of
is
course
not
they're
what
going
I
to do
thought.
that.
First of all, I didn't realize there was another ship.
Yeah, they have two. NX Alpha and NX Beta. NX Alpha blowed up. NX Beta is the...
Yeah, but also you should not take out that other ship until you have figured out exactly what happened with the other one.
No, my
It's
only
like
question
you've never
is...
seen Star Trek before.
No. You've never... Jamie has not watched as much crappy TV as you and I have.
Oh,
Maria.
that
now,
must
my
be
only
it,
my only question, and you don't need to answer this now, I'm willing to wait to see. Do they actually get permission to use the shuttle, or do they simply steal it to show that it works? This is my only question.
What do you think?
Yeah. All right.
Archer does need some convincing. But AG says that when Starfleet does send a ship out, they're going to need a captain who can make decisions on his own. He won't have Starfleet to call every time he needs something. Or the Vulcans. Unless he decides to take one with him.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Back on the shuttle, T'Pol is surprised that she has never heard of any history of any two Starfleet pilots stealing a Warp 2 prototype ship. And Archer says it wasn't really the sort of thing Starfleet wanted to advertise. She looks skeptical, and Archer asks if she doesn't believe him. And she says, I have no doubt that it happened. I find it hard to believe that you had to be convinced to participate.
She knows him so well.
Y'all, I had to pause to laugh for 30 seconds after that line. It was beautiful.
How did he end up as captain of Enterprise? Because if he once did this, if I'm in Starfleet, I'd be like, we cannot trust this person.
It's not Starfleet back then, it's Brofleet.
It's
They
Brofleet.
haven't really become the mature Starfleet we've come to know and love.
He needs to be court-martialed. This is I'm sorry, this is bad. This is actually quite bad.
Well, Archer says he was much more by the book back then.
Having to be convinced to steal a thing is considered more by the book. Okay. But still doing it anyway. Okay.
So they're still on the shuttle. It's time to try out another couple of charges. They shoot another 2 probes out. Same result. Pretty purple star bursts. No other readings. T'Pol once again suggests that they head back, but Archer says they have 2 more chargers. They may as well go in a bit deeper and try one more time. T'Pol asks if the escapade was successful. And after making her promise not to put this story in the Vulcan database, Archer continues. We flash back. Trip is giving Archer last-minute instructions for what to do and how to control the intermix. He wants to go with them, but Archer says he needs to stay and monitor them from the ground. He tells him not to worry, that he'll get there someday. If I had my own ship, I'd sign you up in a second. Trip says he's going to hold him to that.
I'm sorry. I'm just sitting here shaking my head. I just can't imagine someone these aren't just planes. This is not actually Top Gun. These are not just planes that you just take it up.
Yeah.
This is a spaceship.
And the only one they have.
Yeah. And oh my God. I'm just presumably the other one, they had a whole mission command of all the people, what, and just it
Do they? Do they get Ruby to distract, like there's a guard standing in front, like there's one guard like floating out in space in front of the ship with like a rifle, and Ruby comes by and has to distract him?
It's so much dumber than that.
No, see, I'm imagining her flashing. Guard, space titties.
I mean, even with just a plane, you can't just like go up. There's other planes, like airspace. It's like it's important that like
I love you, Jamie.
You are tracking who is in airspace, that you're like telling people that you're doing it so that like other ships don't just run into you. I just like don't I just can't. This is just like beyond belief. I just don't. It's like the writers really think that this is just like we're in Top Gun. They can just like take up their little plane. Okay.
Kind of amazing.
Jamie.
Jamie reset for the new year. She's forgotten everything about how this show operates.
I did get a concussion 2 weeks ago, so
if that took away some of your memories of this show, lucky you. I need a concussion.
Jamie got amnesia, and now we can start the whole show over again.
Archer and AG are just on board the NX beta. They're doing pre-checks.
It's another character with the same Archer and AG.
I know, right? It's so annoying. Archer notes that there is no response from some auxiliary system, and AG grins and says, that's because it hasn't been installed yet.
Oof.
oh my god.
They check in on comms with Trip, who is straight up doing crimes. He is diverting the tracking sensors and is swapping out the telemetry, which basically I think he's doing that thing where you put a photograph in front of a security camera to make it seem like everything is fine. He is for some reason at a rolling standing desk, like in the locker room, I think.
Okay.
He's got a headset and a laptop, and he's communicating with them as they take off. He says that nobody knows they're gone yet, but in about 6 minutes, New Berlin will pick them up. But by then, they'll be well on their way. Y'all, there is no physical security in that hangar. Like, the only security was the sensors that Trip just fooled for this prototype, presumably, I know whatever money, but presumably, like, very valuable thing.
And again, I want to go back to, we have not yet established what made the other ship blow up.
Well, presumably they looked at the telemetry to some degree. Trip is very sure that it has to do with this intermix thing.
Intermix. Okay.
They say intermix.
Just met.
They have to adjust the intermix. Adjust
God.
the intermix, Jamie. They have to adjust the intermix.
There was too much bass on the left rear speaker.
Yep.
Pop in a cassette.
Okay.
We cut to Forrest's office where a lackey comes in and tells him that, weirdly, New Berlin just picked up the NX beta, but that can't be right because sensors show it's still in the hangar. And Forrest asks if anyone's actually fucking bothered to, look. So they both, they both head over.
I think we figured out why Forrest is in charge of Starfleet. He gets there eventually, but he does have the first thought that literally everyone else thinks of.
On the NX beta, the warp field appears to be stable. AG tells Archer that he should take the wheel or the rudder, the controls. He says that he had the last flight and Archer is due. Also, probably a little safety net for him in case they get caught. Okay, he was doing it, wasn't me. They swap places and they're getting ready to go when there's a beep on comms. It's Forrest. What the hell is going on? And Archer says they're running an engine test. Forrest orders him to turn around right away and he'll do what he can to keep him out of prison.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't, even if this is successful, they should immediately be court-martial.
Or promoted.
Archer turns the comms off. And just as Forrest is in mission control yelling, the fucking Vulcans show up. I mean, it's the middle of the night. Who keeps narking to the Vulcans? So they go to Warp. Warp 2. There are still some alarms. Trip's reading fluctuations in the intermix. Fluctuations in the intermix. Things are shaking. The warp field is destabilizing. They're at Warp 2.15. And Archer tells AG to get the intermix locked down because he's not backing off until he breaks AG's record. AG says he's almost there. We have no idea what he's doing with this intermix. There were two like cylinders in holes in the wall, and he's holding them and kind of turning them like he's tuning the dials of a radio. Like,
Yeah, I told you.
One side's matter, the other one's antimatter.
A little bit more. A little less,
little more. Yeah, that's what appears to be doing.
I'm really
And
confused
now
about
oregano.
timing because Travis grew up on his family's ship who could go warp 3, which
I thought transports could only go warp 1.8.
no, but their
Yeah, it
cargo
has
ship
to be.
can go up to warp 3.
Maybe now, but not
Yeah,
then.
so I guess maybe they've like
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you
upgraded the
can get
engine. Okay.
better, yeah, they upgraded the engines, presumably. But this was definitely about breaking the warp 2 barrier.
Okay.
So 3 security men march into the locker room where Trip is working, and they grab him and tell him to come with them. But Trip kind of waves them off because he's trying to get in touch with the ship. So they stop, and after a few seconds, we hear Smug Archer on comms.
Yay.
He tells Commodore Forrest to check their sensors. They are holding steady at warp 2.5. Forrest congratulates them and tells them to get the hell back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I love a good Star Trek story when somebody is like not following orders and they're just like
Sure.
going rogue. But usually it's because it's like some very risky situation, but they can like save someone's life or something. And this is just like for their own ego, essentially.
100%. I was just going to say, they have to save their egos. That's very important to them.
Yeah, and daddy issues. And he has to prove that his dad's engine worked. But in the next scene, they are both being reamed by Forrest. And the Vulcans are there because of course they are.
But I thought the Vulcans didn't know about, like, we just established that the Vulcans don't even know that any of this happened, that there's no historical record.
It's a great point. But the Vulcans were fucking everywhere. They were in mission control where Forrest was yelling at Archer to come down. So that's a great point. I have no idea why this wouldn't be in the Vulcan notes. Anyway, they're getting yelled at, and one of the Vulcans is just straight up grinning. Like,
Wow. You made a Vulcan fucking smile.
Got a big foam finger on that he's the Vulcan salute, but it's like the giant foam hand. He's like waving in the background.
God, I want one of those so bad now.
Somebody has to have made those.
Are there any female Vulcans?
Nope.
They're all men?
Two dudes. Just two dudes.
Okay. I just feel like in the show, I guess we had one other female Vulcan, but I feel like almost all the Vulcans are men.
Yeah. Forrest says they're going to be suspended pending an inquiry, and neither of them will be flying anything anytime soon. He wants to know why they would think that just because this worked, that they didn't ignore all the data and all the tests they've run so far, plus the recommendations of the Vulcans. AG says his normal line, which is they have to take a risk sometime. And
so they're not going to jail at all. Because, like, I'm sorry, this is definitely, like...
They're definitely in trouble. Like, he's like, you're never flying again,
but
is what he says.
But it sounds like slap on the wrist. Like, this is... No, this is jail. This is like stole this thing.
But Jamie... He became the captain of the Starship Enterprise, so we know he didn't go to jail.
I was going to say, the only way this flashback ends is
the
with him
other guy is climbing Mount McKinley, so...
with him getting his captain's bars.
Right. One of the Vulcans says that they're not suggesting that the warp program be dismantled. They just want them to slow down. And AG has changed his tune about the engine. He says that Trip or any engineer would tell him that the ship is sound, it can fly, and they're ready to go now. The Vulcan says it's not his decision to make, and Archer says it isn't the Vulcan's decision either, which is a good line. I will give him that. Archer gives a baby gazelle speech, a little one. He says that they knew there'd be consequences and that they acted recklessly, but that it doesn't matter what happens to them. They don't have to go into space, but what they did should prove that someone can, and if it keeps the project going, it's worth it. If my father were standing here today, he'd be asking, what the hell are we waiting for? Jesus Christ,
I'm sorry, I can't
And the
believe...
Vulcan says, yeah, but your father's dead.
I can't believe they put this man in charge of the Enterprise. It is so this is so reckless. Like, this should be absolutely disqualifying. From a
and the
lady
thing
leadership
is, and the
position.
thing is what they were establishing here is before this, Archer was 100% by the book. Like, he followed all the rules, he did all the things, and this was his break from doing that. This was the big risk he
And I
took.
feel differently if this was like he was 20 years old in college and he was just like young and stupid, but it sounds like this was just like a couple of years before.
It was not that long ago, yeah. Forrest looks pissed, but he also kind of grins at him broily.
Of course.
Brofleet.
Brofleet.
The subtitles, grins in bro.
Grins and bro. Back on the shuttle, T'Pol says that, well, obviously you didn't get kicked out of Starfleet. Here's your time frame, Jamie.
Okay.
They were grounded for 3 months, and the Vulcans insisted on over a year's worth of simulations before they agreed that the engine was viable. 8 months later, Duval broke Warp 3 in the NX Delta, and 5 years later, they started building Enterprise.
Okay, so this is
So
building
it's
Enterprise.
6 to 8 years later.
Yeah,
I would
I
guess.
would maybe 8. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that grounded for pilots means that they can't fly, but I'm just picturing Archer sitting in his room with like the television has been taken out. He's like, this is bullshit.
But like just
Do your homework.
3 months you can't fly. This is like, I'm sorry, this is bullshit. Like he should be in so much more trouble. This was like this should be a huge incident.
Brofleet.
Yep. Anyway, they started building Enterprise. We know the rest. And as he's saying this, an alarm starts going off. T'Pol goes to her console. It's time for their final test. The charges explode. They look the same. Archer asks if there's anything on sensor. But this time, T'Pol says that, yes, there is. And suddenly, they look outside and these beautiful auroras start forming all around them.
Sorry, listeners cannot see. Nicole's eyes just went wide in confusion.
Metreon dark matter Aurora.
I was predicting a lot of things, but not that.
Yeah, it's like the Northern Lights. It's these cute, gorgeous auroras. It's very pretty.
Okay.
T'Pol says, fascinating, and goes back to her laptop and her readings. She says this data will cause some debate at the Science Academy. But Archer tells her to stop all that and come look at how pretty. And to be fair, it's very pretty. Archer says that this is why he and AG wanted to come out here, to see things like this. T'Pol notes that AG clearly wanted to command Enterprise just as much as Archer did. And Archer says he wasn't the only one, but by the end, they were the only 2 candidates.
What? I'm sorry, really?
Yeah, they were, well, they
Guys who
worked
stole the ship.
They worked their way through and were the ones who got it. We do one last flashback back to the bar where Ruby and AG are toasting Archer, the first skipper of the Starship Enterprise. They rib each other a bit more, and AG says that he thinks Archer will be a great captain. He says he'd rather wait for the NX-2 and let Archer make all the mistakes, which is honestly a good fucking call, right? Like,
Wow.
and Archer toasts him as the first skipper of the NX-02. AG drains his beer and says he has to go. He's catching a shuttle to Alice Springs in the morning for survival training. And Archer nods knowingly. Yeah, it's a nice little callback to the survival training that Trip and Archer talked about.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
In Desert Crossing. Yeah. They shake hands. AG leaves, but turns around and he says he'll see Archer out there.
I hate this. And like just the idea
Jamie,
too.
you know that it's a flashback. You know.
I know,
what happened.
but I hate it. I hate the idea that Admiral Forrest, basically it sounds like he hid this in the record, like helped them and kind of got this buried in order to like help their career so it wouldn't hurt them. And I just hate it.
Oh, that's
Like the only woman in this flashback is like the sexy waitress lady. I just hate this.
Yeah, there were no women in any of the military scenes as far as I can
They
tell.
hadn't
Any of the
invented women
Starfleet
yet.
scenes as far as I can tell. They hadn't invented women yet. They hadn't invented women pilots yet, for sure. They'd only got the waitress model.
Do you have any
piles of
idea what would
pilots.
happen to your ovaries in a warp 2.5 field? I'm not going to take that chance. This is fascinating to me, Jamie, especially at this point, but I've just grown up watching so much 70s and 80s trash television.
I think that's what it is.
Rogers, you blew up 3 police cars and caused the mayor to flee the city. Good work.
Yeah, but like Star
You see
Trek's
Beverly Hills
usually
Cop?
Star Trek's usually better about that. I mean, this is over a decade after.
Usually better.
Welcome to the Latin motto of our show. Star Trek's usually
This is
better
over a
about
decade
that.
after TNG, where like TNG would if somebody
God.
just didn't follow an order, they would get court-martialed like immediately, and it would be very serious. And I
don't know, man. Picard got away with a lot
He
of
did,
shit.
fair, but
Picard
like,
did get away with a lot of shit,
but not,
as did
not
Riker.
something like this that was just like not even for a good reason. That was just like fucking around.
Yeah,
I feel like,
no,
well, I think you guys have talked about this in the past. Enterprise is kind of like a reaction to Star Trek being too woke. I mean, they weren't
Yeah,
using that language
essentially,
back then,
Yeah.
but that's what it
they
feels like.
want it. I mean, I think they wanted it to be the right stuff.
Yeah, they specifically said it's going to be the right stuff in space, which
And
again, I
I-
want to point out right stuff already in space.
Right.
The whole point of it. But yeah,
Some of
they
it was
did
in
say
sub.
But I feel
right
like,
stuff in
you know,
space.
and Jamie, you've talked about this in the past where they originally wanted either the whole first season or a chunk of the first season to be on Earth. And I feel like this was what it would have been. If it would have been a whole lot of this.
Yikes.
Yeah,
back and
you know,
forth
I
in
think you're right.
politics.
I bet like by the second season, they're like, let's go back to our original idea and at least do one episode with like an idea that we had. I think you're right, Maria, that this would have been the whole thing, which I want to say that I had thought sounded really interesting because I love like all the politics, but no, not if they were going to do it this way. This sounds bad.
It's super bro-y. Yeah. Okay. So final scene, Archer, well, second to final scene, Archer comes out of his daydream. T'Pol is saying that they have to head back. So they go back to the ship. They tell Trip that his charges worked and he asked if there was a great show. Archer said he should have been there and Trip says he'll try to remember to ask to come along next time. As Archer and T'Pol are leaving the shuttle bay, she says that she believes that there's a human custom that says when you discover something, you get the right to name it. And Archer asks if she thinks it should be the T'Pol Archer Nebula, and she says, no, it should be the Robinson Nebula.
Aww.
And Archer looks touched as she walks away. Once again, more emotional maturity than anybody else on this show. And that's it.
Because just like him, it's cold and dead.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Wow.
So, Paul, remember how we talked about you should stop talking one sentence early?
I would like to just announce that Diane Warren did not win for Best Music Film. John Williams won.
This thing was a
That's
fucking
right.
juggernaut.
Yeah.
Was his on Masterclass too?
Okay, so episode thoughts. Look, I don't know. This was really annoying. I really liked the little backstory pieces. I liked how Trip and Archer met. I was actually really confused because the way that we had been discussing it, I had it in my head that Trip and Archer were literally frat bros in college.
I just I knew that they weren't actually like in a frat together, but I definitely thought they had gone
were
to
in college together.
Starfleet together.
That's what I thought,
But we
too.
had established, because I remember back when they were talking about going on that wilderness thing, I think I was confused because I thought they were in Starfleet together, and you were like, no. They
Yeah,
weren't.
because Archer's a lot older than Trip. So it
Yeah.
does make some sense that they wouldn't have been in the same class. But yeah, it was cute seeing them meet. They had threw in a few lines, that reference what was happening. I love T'Pol once again being the most emotionally mature person on the whole goddamn ship. But there was not one moment in this episode that I did not know what was going to happen next. It was absolutely predictable. Well, okay, except for the dark matter shit, because that was just completely random, right? But in terms of the main storyline, two truths and a lie outcome. Obviously, Hoshi and Phlox did not go on a mission to find ice cream.
No B-plot.
No B-plot. I mean, the B-plot was
The dark matter.
the dark matter thing turned
yeah,
out to
because it was like they
be
had to have the
B-plot.
thing to then get you into the flashback. Yeah.
Exactly. Porthos good boy scale. How good of a boy was Porthos on this episode? No, Porthos. I was
Yeah,
hoping
Porthos
to see
probably
him in the
had-
flashback.
They're
and he
like a
probably
little
was
puppy
alive.
Porthos. Yeah, I don't think
little
he had
pup
been
would've
Do,
been-
alive yet.
do we get a light back? Yeah, my ex-girlfriend left me with a puppy and then ran off. And...
Would have been cute, but no.
Or they could have like had a dog somewhere and then had like a beagle and then had Archer go, "Oh, I love beagles.
I love beagles. Exactly.
I want to
Something
have a
like
beagle
that.
one day."
More dogs.
I
Have
feel
him-
like there was a way
Have
to
him
get a beagle. in
Scrolling
there.
pet finder.
Yeah.
No, he's one of those guys who's like, these crazy dog owners in my life. I don't understand them at all. And then you see like puppy Porthos and suddenly Dreamweaver starts to play in the background.
God, I would have loved to have puppy Porthos.
Yeah, me too. Saucy section. How sexy was this episode on a scale from Paul Giamatti in the new Starfleet Academy show to the horny 20-somethings in the new Starfleet Academy show?
Again, you put these in the wrong order, Maria.
I have not seen it yet because I heard that it's smart to watch Discovery first, and so I decided to start watching
yes.
Discovery. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some fundamental stuff that will not make any sense unless you
yeah,
watch
that's what I
Discovery.
heard. So I was like, well, I guess this is finally why I should start watching
Yeah.
Discovery.
Discovery's awesome, which is why you
It's a
should
good show.
start
I know
watching.
Yeah,
we're
Discovery is fundamentally
we're
a great
partway
show.
through the
Yeah.
second season, and I am enjoying it quite a bit.
Yeah, not much sauciness. Trip was attempting to flirt with Ruby. Nothing
I'm
really
excited
came
that
out
we
of
get to
it.
see
She
Ruby,
was cute.
though.
Yeah, never asked, never answered for something in the episode that made no sense and was never explained. How was there literally no physical security at the hangar at the NX Beta? Like, it makes no sense. It is the only prototype you have of that engine left.
Well, it's a one-world government now. There's no need to steal it from the...
I mean, come on. We know that. I mean, the Klingons were
Yeah.
doing shit on Earth in the first episode, you know? There's shit going down. Technical difficulties, the most technobabble thing from the episode. Everything to do with the dark matter.
Yeah, I want to know, Nicole, like what is a dark matter nebula?
Is that even...
Maybe dark
Well, we
matter
can't-
galaxy might be a thing. Right. So the basic idea of dark matter is that it seems like there's some extra mass in the universe that we can't see, and not just see, but interact with using the electromagnetic spectrum at all. Reflection, absorption, any type of light. And the current leading theories have it as a weakly interacting massive particle, or a WIMP. So
Oh, they're not
given
going to like
that.
that.
Yeah, so given the timing of when it was
Well,
Yeah, it
fuck
was
you
like,
then.
well,
I'm not
that's
going to let
sexy.
you observe me.
shit. So they were probably going
dare
with
you.
that model. It's not the only model, but that's
Sure.
probably the model they were going with. And since then, and I'm going to have to do a little more reading on this to remind myself of the specifics for the next episode, but I'm pretty sure that there are certain dwarf galaxies that are extremely dense in dark matter, or appear to be. So.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I'm very excited for you to watch this, Nicole, because I knew as soon as this happened, I was like, I think we need somebody for the second contact. So you can just say if like any of this makes any level of sense. My guess is no, but you know,
Not to be too far off. I mean, given that
I mean,
we have no idea what type of particle. I
That's the
shouldn't say
thing.
No idea. We have a whole bunch of ideas for what it could be and aren't sure which one it is.
right.
And interacting with it in a super powerful super collider beyond what we can technically do now, I think is, Star Trek plausible.
Sure.
At least.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to watch it and read up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if what Bill said, if there was some big discovery about dark matter in like 2002 when
was
they
in the
were
headlines
writing,
for, like, a week.
when they were writing the episode where it was like they finally like proved without a doubt that dark matter exists, or like something, like there's, I bet anything that Bill's right,
Yeah.
that
Look at
they
the
read that and were
timing.
like, woo, we should put dark matter in our episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
What the Phlox? The creepiest thing Phlox said in this episode: no Phlox.
Wow,
None at all this week.
That's upsetting.
Nothing at all.
No wonder I
I mean,
didn't like
most
the
of
episode.
most of the episode happened on the shuttle or in a flashback. They were almost never on the Enterprise itself.
I'm just surprised. The show, like, I always thought that when actors are in the opening credits, they often are required to have like at least one line per episode. But there's been some times where that has not been the case on this show.
Yeah, but I also feel like that's kind of common for Star Trek. Like, it's a ensemble cast, but Deanna Troy's not always in every episode, or even has a line in every episode, I would think. Like, and then,
Sure.
but
And if you
then,
look at-
but then you get an episode that's all Deanna Troy, or whatever.
On IMDb, you'll see them listed as, in the credits, but then it'll say, like, not appearing or something like that.
Right. Yes, Chef, any mentions of Chef or food? Not really. We got to hang out at this 602 bar and drink beer and bourbon. There might have been, like, peanuts or something, but no real food.
All the stuff that we, like, love about look, it's no secret we are not exactly big fans of this show, but there are things that we clearly really like about it, and it sounds like none of those things were in this episode, except for, I would say, just T'Pol one-liners. It seems like she was really on top of those one-liners.
And Trip being Trip was cute. It was nice seeing him show up. Like, it was nice that Trip was who he is now back then and couldn't shut up about wasn't scared of telling the Vulcans what he thought, all of that. It's very Trip. I didn't even do a Where is HR, but this thing is so fucked up, man. They're Jamie, you said it. None of this makes any sense. These guys should have been in stocks by the end of the episode. There is no way. And it's interesting, going back to
Can you imagine if somebody stole a prototype shuttle from NASA and tried to fly it on their own?
Look, Spock hijacked the Enterprise twice and got away with it.
I mean,
no consequences.
That stuff doesn't, and that honestly doesn't bother me, but there's a lot that they just don't answer. Okay, well, what happened to AG? How come he didn't? I guess there is no NX-02 yet. It's too early, maybe, but it was just strange. And also, they kept showing him drinking heavily, and I kept expecting that to be part of it, and it never was. It's that was a cutscene.
It just made him cooler, Maria.
Yeah.
They were just establishing how cool he was.
I was fully expecting him to be drunk or hungover when he screws up and blows up
just
the
dumbass.
No, this goes back to the Right Stuff thing, where Chuck Yeager was the baddest of the bad. He was the lead guy. He broke the sound barrier, but then everybody else went off into space, and he remained a test pilot, but he never got into the astronaut program.
Right. So, but fun to watch. That sort of vibe of, like we said, the right stuff in space.
The right stuff
and already in space.
Spacier.
Spacier, but spacier. And that is it. I'm looking forward to you guys watching it.
All right.
Okay. This is the segment of our show we like to call Will's Holorex, brought to you by Eric TM, where we each give our Rikermendations for non-Enterprise related content that we've been consuming in our holodecks this week. Nicole, would you like to start us off with your Rikermendation?
Sure. Well, this was not my recommendation, but just from our earlier conversation, you have to see Sinners. You have to see
Is it? So how scary is it? Because I don't like scary movies, and I've been worried it's too scary.
Oh.
How
Is
gory
it but a lot of horror movies are not actually scary. So I want to know how scary it is.
There's two movies. It's two movies, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah, there's a movie, and then it becomes another movie.
Okay. I didn't even know that.
It does get scary.
Do you not like the tension, Jamie, or do you not like a lot of gore and blood? And
I don't like gore and blood,
cool.
and I don't like
blood.
jump scares, and I don't don't mind a little bit of tension.
But my God, the story is so fucking good. It's,
I want to watch it, but then whenever I think about watching it, I'm like, oh, but it's going to be scary, and
But you can at least get through the first half. The first movie. Because it's one type of movie and then it quickly turns into another.
Nicole, did you fall asleep while watching this and end up watching two movies?
No!
And then suddenly Keanu Reeves is there and he's shooting a bunch of people.
And dodging bullets. No, it's the tone just changes entirely. I happened to catch it on a plane. I'm not somebody who sees movies often, so I happened to catch it on a plane.
Cool.
That was not my actual recommendation. My actual recommendation was that I finally sat down and binge-watched Resident Alien, starring Alan Tudyk as an alien who has taken on the form of a human. It's a dark comedy. I guess it started in 2021, and they just had their last season last year. Is bizarre and entertaining, and I really get to love the ensemble characters that they have and the relationships that they have with each other. But Alan Tudyk being a fucking goofball is, just
It's a joy.
always top quality content. So Resident Alien is my recommendation.
Awesome. Bill, what you got?
My recommendation is for a film, once again. The movie is called My Winnipeg from 2007 by Canadian director Guy Maddin. He was asked to create a movie about the province, or the city he grew up in, Winnipeg. And he is a fascinating director. He uses techniques to make his movies look old-fashioned, like they were shot on very old cameras. This is a movie about the history of Winnipeg as filtered through a very faulty memory. So some of the things actually happened, some of the things are complete fiction. It's a lot of stuff about the history of the city, but also his history with his mother. And it's just portrayed as him trying to escape Winnipeg on a train that never gets out of town. I love this movie. It's just a ride. It's a really, really great movie. My Winnipeg by Guy Maddin.
Awesome. Jamie.
Okay, so I recently, as I mentioned earlier, I had a concussion 2 weeks ago, and then
That's a hell of a recommendation.
Get a concussion. Concussion.
I couldn't really look at screens, except I could sort of watch TV as long as I wasn't paying too much attention to the TV. If I was doing a cross stitch and just looking up periodically, so I was watching so much TV because it was basically the only thing I could do. And I watched a lot of movies, and I was watching a lot of musicals because Eric doesn't like them. So I was like, this perfect opportunity for me to watch some musicals. So I've been catching up on some movie musicals that I hadn't seen. And I finally watched the remake of West Side Story that Steven Spielberg did from 2021. And I didn't see it originally because I'm like, why redo a perfect movie? I was like, we don't need this. No one asked for this. Why is this here? But I've heard such good things about it. So I finally watched it, and it was so goddamn good. It was so good. So the thing about the original is the reason it's just one of the best movie musicals of all time is the music, right? You have, and the performances were amazing in the original too, but between Sondheim and Leonard Bernstein, you just don't get better than that. But the problem with the original movie is that it's at times so cheesy, and the dancing is so cheesy. And turns out, guys, don't know if you know this, but Steven Spielberg, great director. He's actually very good. So
has he done anything else I might have seen?
Way to go out on a limb there, Jamie.
Seriously,
can you recommend some other things he might have done?
Is able to make it there's these tough gang members singing and dancing, and they still look cool somehow.
Right.
I don't understand how he does it. It is just so good. The choreography and the dancing is so good, and the music is still amazing. Rachel Ziegler and Ariana DeBose are so good in it. Also, there's some men. They're fine, I guess. Anyways, I really liked it. And not just because, by the way, I am not actually Leonard Bernstein's daughter. I know I have the exact same name as her. People.
Well, now I don't know what to believe.
I have had people think that I was her just because of my name.
No other Bernsteins ever.
Well, it's Jamie Bernstein. It's first and last name. I used to on Twitter periodically back in the day, people would tweet at me and being like, I'm going to your concert tonight. And I'm like, you're not talking to the right person. No, you're not.
The really weird thing is that Jamie's parents did write the Berenstain Bears.
Anyways, I loved it. West Side Story, the new one, strongly recommend, especially if you're a fan of the original.
Cool. All right. I am going to do 2 recommendations as well, mostly because I want to piggyback off of what Nicole suggested, because I discovered a new podcast last week that I love. It's called Once We Were Spacemen, and it is Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk, and it is a delight. It is so much fun. It's just 2 old friends chatting about their lives and talking a little bit about Firefly, but also talking about all the other stuff they've done since. And they just seem like really fun. It's relatively new, so there's only a few episodes out. I think it started in maybe November. But yeah, fun podcast. Once We Were Spacemen. But my actual recommendation is I'm contractually obliged to make this recommendation because Scott Sigler has a new book out. Great friend of the pod, Scott Sigler's
Do it live!
Second book in his Crypt series called Voidstrike came out this week, which will be several weeks ago when you're listening to this, but it'll still be available. It's hard sci-fi. It is quite dark and a lot of horror in it.
It is called Crypt series.
As you would expect. The general premise is there is a ship that is a complete secret to, this is obviously far in the future, everybody else in the fleet. It's a complete secret. Nobody knows how it works. And all of the worst people in the fleet, if you've committed the worst crimes, your punishment is you get to go onto this ship. And it is colloquially called the Crypt for obvious reasons. And I am thoroughly enjoying it. I highly recommend getting it on Audible. It's read by the great Ray Porter, who is just a wonderful narrator. So yeah, The Crypt, books 1 and then book 2, which is called Voidstrike, just came out. Book 1 is called Shakedown.
For listeners, Scott Sigler was the person who did the Crossing Explainer on that episode. I can't remember what we named that episode.
I think I did a little bit of science advising for The Crypt, the first one.
Oh, cool.
One, but yeah.
Very cool. It was something about wisps.
Oh yeah, it's
when you wisp upon a starship.
Wisp upon a starship.
Yep.
So yeah, read The Crypt and then go back and watch or listen to our episode.
Which I would like to say is a title that Eric came up with, which is why he sponsors this segment. He pays us in coming up with good titles for episodes when we can't think of good titles.
Oh, that's the Eric TM. Okay.
Yeah.
He pays us in hugs. No, what happened was one time I forgot to say Rikermendation and it kind of got under his craw and it became a bit.
He came to me and he's like, how come you guys don't call it Rikermendation anymore? I'm like, it's one time Bill just forgot. Because I should say, he came up with the term Rikermendation.
Rikermendation.
Oh, I see.
It is true.
Aw.
Love you.
And that is the episode. Thanks for listening. Next week, we will revisit this episode as a second contact and hear Jamie and Nicole and Bill's thoughts once they have actually watched it. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us. I'm very excited that you're going to be able to join us again. But tell us where people can find you.
You can't. I'm hiding under a pile of grading again. No, I'm...
Fair enough.
The semester just started, so I'm not that bad off yet. I am Noisy Astronomer on the interwebs. I am on Blue Sky very occasionally. And honestly, not much else, just because teaching and being department chair takes up most of my life.
Look at you. Look at you, fancy.
Arch Chancellor.
Oh god, it's a trip, man. All this administrative stuff. Being a mid-career academic has its joys and its pitfalls.
Are you the Admiral Forrest of your college?
No, but I could. Never mind. I can tell you where. I have so many thoughts. I've learned more about college administration than I'd ever want to know.
Okay, special thanks to our producer, K.O. Myers at Particulate Media, to our friend David for the beautiful cover art, and to John Stephen King for being the voice of our computer. If you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on your podcast app of choice, and tell your friends about it. It really does help us, and we do really appreciate it. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook as @EnterpriseSplaining, and on Blue Sky as @EnterpriseSplain. You can also email us any comments or questions, such as, why did they keep bringing up AG's drinking? Do you think he was drunk when he fell off of Mount McKinley? To enterprisesplaining@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. And if you would like to support this podcast, you can find us at Buy Me a Coffee as Enterprise Splaining. See you next week. Bye.
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 Computer. And program.
Man, I really kind of hope that one, the ice cream one's true, because I do kind of want to name the episode now. Hoshi and Flox's
B-plot ice cream adventure.
B-plot ice cream adventure.
They get into a vicious fight as to whether raisins go in ice cream or not.
Ooh. They do not. Good Lord. Raisins don't go in anything. Anyway.
They go in boxes labeled raisins.
Yeah.
Yes. Raisins are good on their own.
And then you grab them and you throw them away.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.